All right, so we've done these things here. I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete that, and we're also going to delete the first-person controller, okay? The reason why is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some terrain, okay? And this actually has a built-in terrain tool, and that's what we're going to use, okay? So what you want to do is go to Game Object, 3D Object, and you'll see Terrain. And it will pop up here, and it will... Oh, I thought it popped down here too. Apparently not. Okay. So we have this terrain, and here you go. There's where it is. And it basically makes this sheet. And what it is, it's a piece of geometry. You can't really see it. It makes it look like this is the wireframe, but it's actually higher res than that. And the idea here is that you can use what we call a height map in order to sculpt it up and down. And this is how most games are done. And we can change the size and all that of this, but we're just going to go with the default, and I think that should be fine. So it's going to start right at 0. What I want to do is go through, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to paint terrain. So you're going to click on that, and then underneath the paint terrain, so you have to be on it, by the way, you'll see smooth height, raise lower terrain, blah, 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 blah. Let's hit set height. Okay, actually, hang on a second. I want to do raise or lower terrain. And then, let's see, brush size goes up. Oof, okay, that's not the one I wanted anyway. Set height. Let's do local, and it goes up to 600. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Okay, so we want to set height, and let's just set it a little bit up. Let's set it to like 100. 100, and then we're going to hit flatten tile. And it's going to shift it up. And the reason why I do that is that way it's up a little bit. So if I want to go in, I can go in. And if I want to go up, I can go up. Okay? So I just want to set height and flatten tile at 100. I switch it to local. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and raise and lower terrain. Okay. So we have different brushes here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one, the one that has a nice fall off on it. And here's our brush. And... yeah, so you can kind of see it. It puts like a normal map thing. You can see it right there. So we have brush size and we have opacity here. I'm gonna leave opacity 100. Let's just make this bigger. That's probably a little bigger than what I need. Let's go like that. Okay. What I'm gonna do is if I hold shift and draw, it's actually gonna go downwards, and I'm just gonna go around the outside like that. All the way around the outside. Okay. Because what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna make an island. Because we need to have some sort of barrier, right? Because, I mean, if you ever played a game, right, there has to be some point at which the player can no longer move. And different games try to do different things. A lot of times they'll do mountains. They might do like a forest. They might do a thing where they just have like a car pile up or like a bridge that you can't pass. But usually they'll do things that keeps the player from being able to progress past a certain distance. What we're going to do is we're going to make an island. So outside of this, there's just going to be water. We're going to import some water from the asset store. It is possible to make your own shaders and stuff, but that's like a whole nother thing in of itself. And that's also not very exciting. Okay, so I got something that looks like this. Oops, a little bit something there. Okay, so I just held shift and I just did that. Let's make this, let's get a wider, like this, and make it a little bit wider. And let's see if we hold shift. I'm just going to try and just shape the island. Oops, I didn't want you to go up. There we go. Just going to try and shape the island a little bit more irregular. Okay, so just so that it looks a little bit more like an island and a little less like, I don't know, a block of cheese or something. Okay, so we'll just say there's a cliff on this end, just like that. Okay, so there we go. That looks sort of like an island. All right. Call that acceptable. All right. Then what I'm going to do is, so we have the raise lower. I got that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to grab this brush now. And let me see. It's that big. That's pretty big. Let's pull this back a little bit. Let's pull it back up this way a little bit. We'll go like that. And, all right. And now what happens is I can brush and add some mountains. Like so. Let's take the opacity down a little bit so it doesn't go quite so big. Let's go down a lot more actually. Rather kind of build up my mountains. We're going to kind of put like a a mountainous area in here. I'm going to hold shift to maybe put like more of a crevice in here. But what we want to do is just go through and basically, make it look a little bit more irregular. Go up a little bit, take that up a little bit. Let's raise this up. Okay. And let's make it down a little bit. Oops, that's a little too much. It's very, okay, let's go like that. And let's hold shift and kind of go in. Go like that. Okay, so we'll say that that's my terrain. It's not super exciting. You can definitely spend more time on it than I have. I'm also going to go through and just smooth the height. So I'm just going to go like this, and let's take the opacity all the way up. And I'm just going to go through and try to smooth. I would generally suggest going through and smoothing everything. Because by default, it'll actually be a little bit like janky. And that's probably not something you want. So I like to just go through and just smooth it all. Okay, so just smooth. Helps if you say smooth as you do it. For sure. Everybody knows that. Okay. What are the options we have here? They have stamp, paint. You can paint holes, which is kind of cool. So basically, if you wanted there to be a hole, but I don't see why you would do that. That's actually not a very good idea. I'm sure there's a reason why it's there. I'm sure there's things you could do with that, but we're going to call that good as far as that's concerned for now. The next thing I would need to do after I paint my texture after I paint this, is to paint the texture. Okay, so if you go, you'll see that there's paint texture and options to switch soon. Okay, now this is a little bit different because basically we don't have any options right now. We don't have any materials basically that we could bring in. So again, I could bring in my own images. If I was making a game that I was going to actually produce and put out there, I would make all my own textures. But we're going to instead just do, we're just going to use the asset store because why not? It's there, right? Okay. So I'm just going to go back to my asset store and let's just look up like terrain textures. Okay. And it's going to give me a bunch of different textures. Oh, when I'm doing this too, I'm going to make sure, so you can see the categories are much more full now. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted. Thank you. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure free assets, because those are my favorite kinds. And then you can look, and there's a whole bunch of them here, right? So this was kind of nice. I didn't use this one. Dog's Life Software. This was the one I used last time. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll say I'm going to use this Terrain Textures Pack free. Feel free, though, to go through and just grab a bunch of these. The only thing I would say, the main thing I would suggest is this for now. Don't grab anyone that's stylized. And the reason being is that if it's stylized, it means it has a style applied to it. And so, like, this rock texture is cool, looks great, but that wouldn't go with, like, this, right? This is also stylized. So anything that's stylized, everything has to be of that same style. It's one of the benefits that if you make it yourself, you can, have the style all be the same. So I would generally suggest for right now, so like this grass is pretty, it's nice, but it's very stylized. I would suggest grabbing stuff that's generally more realistic, right? So this one's nice too. But I'm just going to go ahead and do Terrain Textures Pack Free. That's the name of it. Just remember that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and use that. And that's what I'm going to use. So same things before, Window, Package Manager, and what was it? Terrain Terrain Textures Pack Free. So you can see how it has a little thing here. It's not downloaded. Okay, so so just also remember, you'd want to click on it. Forgot to mention that. Just like before, you click on it, and then it'll pop open the window, and then you just got to click here to add to my assets or something. It'll say something like that. I can't remember what it is, but that's all I did. So anyways, click that, and I'm gonna hit download. Okay. You dirty dog. Come on. Oh, I didn't even do anything. I'm going to pause it while it's doing this. I think it was because I left it open in the browser window. It was like trying to talk to this back and forth. And so I just hit back. And here I backed up, and then it didn't bother me anymore. So I'm just going to hit download. It's going to download. You can see the downloading going here. And then when this is done, I'll hit import. Done installing, hit import. Again, it's going to bring open a panel. right here. Come on. What is going on? It's so slow. It's going to bring open a panel. When it pops open, I'll show you. All right, shows all these things. I'm just going to import it. More or less what this one is, it's just textures, which means it's just images. That's just what we call the images you overlay top of 3D models. So this is going to import them. And then you'll see down here, well, not, oh man, is it going to put it? It might put it in first person controller because I have that open right now. Sometimes it seems like it does it in here, and then sometimes it doesn't. Let's see what it does. It's going to import it. All right, so that imported them. If I go to my assets folder, you'll see that now, well, there's the terrain that I made for. The terrain textures. You see demo scene, they usually have that. And then right in here are the various textures, okay? You're going to see that they're going to come with a number of different things. Most of the time, they're going to come with two things. So you're going to see one and then another one. One will say, like this one has an N on it, and this one doesn't have anything on it. Okay, so this is the color map, which is the thing you see, and then this is the normal map. That's why there's an N on it, okay? Anyhow, that's what it brought in. So let's go ahead and use them on it. So I'm going to select this again. Make sure on this, we're on Paint Texture. We're going to click on the Edit Terrain Textures, and we want to create a layer. Now, yeah, create layer. Now, what it's going to do, this is important. Whatever one you choose now, so you see our images are up here. Whatever one we choose right now is going to be our default layer, which means the entire thing of this is going to be filled with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. What's this one? Ground dry leaves. No, ground cracked. Ground grass 2. I'm going to do ground UV grass UV2. I'm going to grab that one, and now you're going to see the entire thing is filled with that, and it's a repeating tileable texture, okay? I'm going to click on that, though, and then so you see it added it right here. So you're going to see you're going to have a list of them here. So we have this one. I'm going to select this guy, and then you'll see normal map. So right now, if I were to look at this, you're going to see, my thing's really big. Hang on a second. Let me make this smaller so you can see. You're going to see that it's going to be kind of flat, right? It's like it's just a picture it's laying over top of it. But if I add the normal map, hit select, and then we went with, I think this one, right? So I'm going to select this guy, double click on it. So now that's on this one. And now if I was closer, do you see how now it's got like bumpiness to it? That's what this normal map is doing, okay? So now that's on the entirety of it, and that's fine. We're not going to do anything else with this one. That looks whatever. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to do Edit, Terrain Layers. I'm going to create another one. This time, let's go ahead and just do this ground one. I'm going to click on it here. I'm going to select. I'm going to make sure I grab I think it was this one I just grabbed, right? Which one was it? Wait, it's this guy. I'm going to grab this thing. Okay. You're going to notice it didn't do anything. And the reason why is that the whole thing's filled with this. Now, these will only happen if I paint them. So, if you select one over here, they'll be added and you can start painting them. So let's just have this one selected, and now I can start painting with it. So I'm going to scroll down, and let's do brush size. Let's make it much larger. That's too large. A little bit larger. Actually, let's do also more of a patchy one. Okay, we're going to go like this. This looks fine. Opacity, I'm actually going to bring that down to like, I don't know, 75 or 70%-ish. And then we're going to paint it, okay? And what you're going to see is, it looks really, I don't like the metallicness of it. It's going to paint that, this is too big. It's going to paint this in there. You know, the problem is the opacity is too high. So I'm just going to, it's best to just, you want to try and like work it in. Like I like to just do little dabs. There's a lot of theory and stuff that goes to this aspect of level design, and more than we really kind of have time for. But there's a whole art to this about basically layering textures. Oops, get back on there. Layering textures on top of each other in order to make it look more full. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna try and go all the way around. I don't want to spend. Man, what the heck? I don't want to spend this whole time just painting in front of you and doing this whole thing because it's not fun to just watch somebody painting. I'm just going to try and get this layer all the way across here. And then, oh god, that's a lot. We're not going to do that. Okay, so that's another layer. Now what I want to do is add another layer. So I'm going to do edit terrain layers, create layer, and then let's go ahead and we'll add, let me see, ground dry leaves. What's this one? Ground stone. We'll do this one. What's this one? Ground cracked. We'll do dry leaves. And grab dry leaves, click on it, make sure I add its normal map. So where was that one? Dry leaves, this is it here, okay? And then I can take this one, and let's just make this smaller, scroll back down. That's a little too small. And then I can kind of just dabble this around. But you want to break it up. Do not let it just be one solid like color thing all the way through. It's just not gonna look good. Okay. And then I would add more terrain layers, and then I would go through and I would finish all of this and make it look nice and get a general kind of color. Now, what you can do too, let's just go ahead and do this before we finish this video here. We definitely need to do more with the terrain, but this is a start. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the first person controller again, and I'm just going to drop him right there, or her. Let's hit F to frame so I can see. There we go. And I'm just going to hit play. And now you'll be able to see that we can run around on the terrain here, which will make things a little bit better. There you go. So you can see, yay, right? But it looks very empty, and you can see the repeating patterns very well. So what you need to do is you need to basically make sure that you are, breaking up the textures as much as you can. But we do have kind of the start of a world that we can run around in. And the next one we'll do is we will further build this up. If you go down here, you'll see, oh, I'm on that thing, sorry. Boop. Going over the paint textures. But like I said, you can add more. Go ahead and download more texture packs if you want, and then you can add those in there too. But I'm gonna show you how to add trees and grass and things like that in the next one. But definitely you'd want to just speckle in just a lot, and a lot more than just 3. Like get a whole pile of them, and then you're just gonna put them in there. All right.